Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Crucible. I'm your host, Andrew Wilson. Tonight, I've got Jesse from Pod Awful, aka, I guess, Jesse Explosion Finger Guns. The man of many titles. Anyway, I'm going to bring him out. Jesse, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell everybody where they can find you, kind of what you're about.
Happy to be here. Hi, I got a show called Pod Awful. That's it.
Easy enough. Easy enough. So, where can people find that? By the way.
Well, I'm banned on YouTube right now, but I'm on YouTube. Awful.tube is where you can find my YouTube. I have to say that. I don't say like, oh, search for me on YouTube because you never know. Tomorrow it could all be gone. I was terminated. I'm technically not allowed on YouTube. You could have your channel terminated for just hosting me here. I'm kind of like Alex Jones, where you're just not supposed to have me on, but then they look the other way when it brings them money. They don't do that part with me. Anyway, and then I've got a website called podawful.com. So yeah, awful.tube is where whenever I have to make a new YouTube channel, it goes there. And then my website is podawful.com, where we host videos for a lot of money. I don't know why. I pay a lot of money to host the videos, and then I tell people you can go watch them there. They're like, no thanks. I just only understand 2 websites. Thank you.
Why'd you get run off YouTube, man?
I got falsely terminated from there because this guy I made fun of named Tom Gulley. You ever heard of the famous Tom Gulley?
I have not.
He's
Tell me the
super
story.
famous. He's a radio man. You know, radio guys, like, you know how you've got a microphone on a stick right now?
Yeah.
And you know how sometimes a guy will have that and he'll have some headphones and you go, ooh, he's a radio guy. And he like has that voice where he's like, hey there, everybody. You know?
Yes.
And it's like always like a late, I don't know how old a fella you are. What do I call you? Drew? Can I call you Drew?
That's fine, man.
All right. I don't know how old a fella you are, Drew, but it's usually a guy in his like late 50s, if you know what I'm talking about.
Not that old. Not that old.
Well, I don't think you are. I'm just saying. And then the guy is like, he's got a YouTube channel, and you're looking at him, you're like, how did you even find your way here? He's not technically a boomer, but he's got the energy of one. And then you're like, what did you? And then he keeps calling what he's doing radio, even though he's on the internet. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I know the exact type. Yeah.
Okay, I call them fake radio guys. These are guys who may have actually been on the radio. That's Tom Gulley on my screen right there. That's him. Okay. That guy right there. Yeah. So these guys may have been on the radio at one point in their lives, but then, now the radio doesn't exist. Now it's like, that's crazy. Like, who even listens to a radio at this point? I'm not even sure what the application for, like, I used to think like, well, it must still exist when you ride in the car, but that's got to be over with by now. So these guys, they all went, okay, I'll just go to YouTube, but keep calling it the radio, which is very funny to me. And then, and they pretend
they even have like dot radio behind their shit. You could catch me at such and such dot radio, and it's a YouTube channel.
Dot FM or stuff like that. I used to do that in the early. I've been doing this Pod Awful nonsense a long, long time, and so like 13 years ago when I started it, I called it radio, like, jokingly. This was before all the boomer guys found their way into podcasts. I just thought it was like, oh, isn't that like a silly anachronism to call it radio? And also, I guess partially because like internet radio was still kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so Tom Gulley's one of these radio guys, right? And I made fun of him for looking like a Frankenstein. That's it. And apparently he had a radio show at some point. He still thinks he's on the radio, but he's not. He like live streams to about 30 guys on YouTube, and about 40 of those are me. And you do that math. I can't work that one out for you. And we just made fun of him. We've discovered that there's this whole story behind him where he made a bunch of kids at a school mad, and they started calling him a pedophile online. And he spent the next 10 years of their lives like trying to ruin. These are children. He was trying to ruin their lives for calling him a pedophile. So he like legitimately became a monster to children, all because he was mad that children called him a monster. And then we said he looked like Frankenstein. And then it turns out not only has he dressed like Frankenstein before, but a townsperson from where he lives called me on my show, and they told me, like, this is real. Like,
Wait, this is a guy from his hometown calls you?
This is a lady. So that's how you know it's real. It's a fucking woman. All right. When a woman is calling, it's not a prank call. Women don't do that. Are you proving you're not bald to my audience? Are they
I am.
Asking if you're
bald? That's right.
That's awesome. And by the way, that's very awesome. That's awesome that they asked, because I see why they're doing it. You are wearing a hat, but it's also awesome you are not bald.
I am not bald. 100%.
Let me see that again. Take that head
perfect head of hair.
Look at that. What about the spot in the back? Do you have the spot?
No spot in the back.
A little bit. There's a little bit, or it might be a big part.
Nothing.
Okay.
Perfect head of hair.
You know what? That's a beautiful guy. Guys, give him a round of applause in the chat room for that one. That's awesome. So yeah, this lady calls me, and because it's a lady, I know she's telling the truth, and she knows all these details about his life that you could only know. He lived in a very small town, and so there's only, you'd have to know him. You just have to. I know this lady's legit, and he worked at a school. So the craziest part in all this is all these people are calling him a pedo and stuff. He's working with kids, and she's like, everyone in town hates Tom Gulley. He thinks he's the worst.
Got some fucking chick from his hometown. It's like, oh, fuck this guy.
So this dude's like a nobody. I'm a nobody, and somehow we still all found each other. It's great. And and she tells me that one time Tom Gulley left school crying because the kindergartners kept calling him Frankenstein. And now this is something we were already saying about him. So we were calling him like Franken Gulley and all this stuff. So it's just a silly thing. I do the silliest online bullying of people of all time. Like, probably what most people know me for right now is I send coleslaw to people's houses. Other people get doxxed and they get swatted. If I find out your address, you just get sent free coleslaw. Doesn't even make any sense. I don't even know what that means.
Well, I mean, is it good coleslaw?
No coleslaw is good. Are you fucking kidding me? That's the whole point.
There's got to be some good coleslaw.
You like coleslaw?
I do not like coleslaw.
Okay, there you go. And
I do not. But I mean, there's got to be somebody somewhere who does.
All right, but think about it like this. So, like, somebody shows up to your door, you're not expecting anything. You're like, if you're an internet guy, you probably get a little bit jumpy. You're like, what? Somebody's just showing up to my door. I'm live streaming. Someone's showing up. This can't be good. You open the door. It's a KFC delivery, and you're like, okay. And then they tell you it's paid for, and you kind of get a little excited. Your heart flutters a little bit. You're like, all right, I don't see how this is a joke on me.
It's just filled with fucking coleslaw.
And then it's just filled with fucking coleslaw. Slaw bombing. We call it slaw bombing.
Why the fuck not?
So
you're sending coleslaw grams to people, basically.
Yes. It's not. Well, I'll tell you. Here's the craziest part, though. Like, I'm into this thing. We call it the dark future. And Pod Awful, the current season of the show is called Dark Future, where we like to explore how the internet has sort of warped society, and especially in these past 2 years when all the normies became terminally online like the rest of us, from the kahuna virus. Can I say that here? Am I allowed to talk?
You can say the kahuna virus.
Okay. Yeah. The kahuna virus, these guys, like, the earth has changed. It's like noticeably different. There's a tension, and I think one of the craziest parts about it is you can now use delivery apps as surveillance on other human beings. Like, one of the reasons we do this coleslaw prank is we get the deliver, like the DoorDash guy, to send us a picture of the delivery, and that way we get photos of your front door. So, like, these low-level minions, these like losers who are delivering stuff. No offense to anybody out there who does that, but please stop doing that. You're losing money by having that as your job. Like, I'm not telling you, be a plumber. I'm not making fun of any job except this one. Like you're driving around all day, you're losing money on that shit 100%. You're not going to make it up in tips. And to be fair, you don't deserve the tip. But we use these guys. We don't tip them. We just completely waste their time. They're delivering a fucking sack of coleslaw. We'll send hundreds of them to one guy's house, like multiple delivery drivers to one guy's house, and get multiple angles of their driveway, their door, their front door, their home and stuff. And they essentially, what we've done is we've used the internet, we've corrupted it to turn these low-level people in society unwittingly into my henchmen to do my bidding. It's kind of a fun way of looking at it.
And so I'm guessing that when the delivery drivers do this and they have the pictures of this causes panic for whoever the target of this prank is.
I'll tell you this. No guy wants to see a series of photos of his own front door as bread or coleslaw piles up in front of it in each successive photo set to the tune of In the Hall of the Mountain King. It's just, it doesn't matter how little that affects you. When that happens in a YouTube video, you fucked up. Like in some way, your life is going the wrong direction. When that happens.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, fair enough.
I mean, listen, you probably live in like a decent place, but if there was a pile of diapers in front of your door right now and I was showing 18 photos of it, you would be embarrassed by this. It's just true. If I suddenly brought up many photos of your front door, it wouldn't even have to dox you. You would just be like, this is uncomfortable. Because I made this happen against your will and through the power of an app we all have on our phone. Anyone could do this. Anyway, Tom Gulley, he didn't like when I made fun of him, so he reported me to YouTube, but he did this dastardly fucking thing. This guy he's not an evil genius. In fact, he's one of the stupidest human beings I've ever spoken to. He thinks he's like the quintessential example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Where he literally has a sign right above his head that says, "You can't fix stupid." And he doesn't see how that looks like it's talking about him, because it's right above. It looks like it's labeling him. Like he doesn't get it. But he's one of the dumbest people I've ever spoken to. But man, he figured something out, because this could happen to you. Anybody listening to this, if you got a YouTube channel, this could happen to you. This could happen to your favorite guy. This is bad. And I tried to explain this to YouTube over and over again, why they should not do this. They should reinstate my channel, because this sets a very dangerous precedent. This is...
Well, how did he go about doing it?
Here's what happens. Now I have circumstantial evidence that leads me to believe it was him. It could have been any number of people, but all signs for me point to Tom Gulley. He reported me not for hate speech or any of the millions of things you could easily nab me for. I just had a video taken down for hate speech the other day. Like I'm banned for a week on YouTube right now. But what he reported my channel for was circumvention of technologies. You ever even heard of that shit before?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Neither had I. So that is a report. It's not in your normal drop
circumvention of technologies.
Oh yeah. See, this is not something that comes in your normal report drop down. It's not in there anywhere. It's not even in the section for copyright infringement or privacy or any of those things. You gotta Google to even find this shit. And you and I don't know how long you've been doing this YouTube stupid bullshit, but I've been doing it a long time. I've never heard of it. You've never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
So I don't know how this dude figured this thing out, but that's part of what makes me think it's him. Is he did, for a very short period of time, he worked for Cartoon Network in their like IP sort of area, like their intellectual property shit. So maybe he knows through that or something. I don't know. All I can tell you is circumvention of technologies is when a channel is uploading videos about how to either hack software or like crack copyrighted stuff. Like if you had a channel about how to download Photoshop for free,
okay,
Adobe would report you for circumvention of technologies.
That actually makes sense.
Of
Right?
course.
Like that makes sense that there would be some type of mechanism for that.
Absolutely.
But I'd never fucking heard of it.
Of course. And neither had I. And I would assume the reason I've never heard of it is because obviously that's not what my fucking channel was doing. Like,
Right.
I'm a comedy show, man. Why would I be putting up tutorials on how to download, Illustrator and crack the serial for it? It doesn't make any sense.
Could they have combined this using delivery driver app with pictures? Is that kind of like the tie-in for how to circumvent technology?
I wish that made any sense. Number one, I'm not even sure we were doing that back then. That might be after that. But no, that's not. We're literally just using the app the way it's intended. That's the scariest part about doing that, about slaw bombing people, is like, technically speaking, we've done nothing weird or wrong. But no, it's not that. And we don't teach how to do this. We just do it. Like, I'm not showing instructions or anything. It would be like, that would be, if that was the reason, it would be the equivalent of someone's channel getting taken down because they were using pirated software. Not they showed you how to. They just, hey, look, I'm drawing something in Photoshop, and they happen to have cracked that version of Photoshop, which, like, most people who use fucking Photoshop are using an illegal version of it.
Right.
So
right.
That would be crazy.
Like, everybody's using pirated software to make their own broadcast, more than likely, right? All over the place.
I know why it was successful, and this is the craziest part of this report system, and why I say it could happen to anyone. There is no oversight, and there is no review for this. If this is reported against you, and you have the basic information in there that seems legit, just seems legit, because obviously what he reported was, whatever he said to them was not legit. As long as you're putting in, legit contact information, the channel is going to get taken down. And there is no review process. I was given the option to appeal, and here's what happened every time I attempted to appeal. They sent me an email back saying, thank you for your email. Here is how you appeal. And then it would be another link. And then you'd click that, and you would send the email again. And it was just an infinite loop of this thing telling me over and over again, here's how you appeal. And then when I contacted them about that and said, okay, this appeal does not work, I'm just getting a response saying, here's how you appeal every time, they said, nah, sorry, you're terminated. You can't do anything. And then I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. I was a YouTube partner. So I was like, I contacted the partner support, right? And they're like, we'd love to help you, but you're no longer a partner. I'm like, well, I'm contacting you because I was falsely terminated as a partner. I should still be one. That's the issue here. And they're like, yeah, we can't do anything because technically speaking, you're not a partner right now. So it's just this feedback loop. And I've tried to make people aware of this. I've tried to get YouTube aware of this. And of course, all of this happened at the height of the kahuna virus. Mm-hmm. And so they didn't have employees at YouTube at that time. There's like nobody there. I'm talking to robots. And like, as much as you normally are talking to robots there's usually at least, one guy. There's like some old man sitting in front of a computer screen, like an MS-DOS terminal or something. And he's sitting, he's actually also the janitor, and he's sitting next to a mop bucket, which has web coming off.
He's got to clean the office and field the questions, right?
Yeah, somebody got to feed them hogs. So he's like, every once in a while you get him, Gary. His name's Gary. He's like, oh, okay. And he just hits one button, and all it does is say no, and that's the response you get. He's just
it's interesting you bring this up, because a lot of people have brought up, especially in the last year, there's been a huge wave of bannings due to several false reports within the system. A lot of it is bot spamming, spam reporting, things like this. I haven't heard this one yet. I haven't heard the technology bit just yet, but it doesn't surprise me.
Well,
but they all say universally that the system is totally broken from the top down.
Obviously. And I say this all the time. Having a report button at all is the problem. It's a psyop. It's trying to turn you into a tattletale. They could just anything they don't want on their platform, they could just automatically remove. They have the technology to do that. They're writing, like, look at your video after it's uploaded. It's going to have an automatic transcript of every word we said. They can detect when you say the words that aren't allowed on their platform. Why don't they get rid of those things themselves? Why don't they have just drop the audio at that point? Then no one loses. And the real answer is because the report feature isn't about removing bad content. It's not even about keeping advertisers happy. It's about turning you into a tattletale. It's about psyoping you and your friends and turning you into an enemy of everyone else online. It's everybody watching themselves. You are Big Brother. And the dark future is you are your own Big Brother because physical wounds heal. So the thing about the circumvention of technology thing is, though, I looked into it deeper afterwards, and it turns out this is a pretty big problem. It's not usually guys like me that have been running into this. But what happens is, like, some script kiddie will send in 1,000 reports like this through whatever their upload form is for this problem. They'll send in a ton of them just so that one of them goes through. If one of them works, that's it. The channel gets taken down. And then what they do is they will send on Discord through an anonymous account, they'll send the channel owner a message saying, you have to send me this amount of Bitcoin or I'm holding your channel hostage, basically.
It's a fucking extortion racket.
Yes, it literally is. So I sent that to YouTube. Crickets, nothing, no response. So that is that is the reason I lost my YouTube channel. Funny enough, like almost a year before that, I actually got terminated, but the day after, or like the day that happened, I got terminated for some other bullshit thing. Somebody reported, it was another guy who was mad I made fun of him. And this is like a big dude who's fairly well known from comedy and is also now this like internet guru guy. He's like one of these touchy-feely guru dudes called Kyle Cease. He had reported me because I uploaded this video about where he admits to having been a Me Too guy. He got #MeToo. And it's him talking about it. But he tried to report that down. YouTube sent me a thing. I only had the one strike, and they still said, your channel is terminated. I got an email saying, like, the channel is gone. I go to look at the channel. It's there. And this was the day that everyone went home from like YouTube because of the virus. So it was literally like the same day that, you saw on Twitter or in the news, all Google employees are now working from home.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was like a Friday. Well, that was the day. So I think they literally just forgot to terminate my channel. And I survived another like 8 months after that. And so I
Are you serious?
Yes, I swear to God, that legitimately happened. And I sent the thing to appeal it, and nothing, like, there was, where I had the feedback loop later on this one, there was no reply. There was just no one there. Like, there's just nothing happening. It was crazy. It was a crazy time.
Have you tried to tag YouTube on Twitter?
Dude.
A lot of people get good responses off of that.
Yeah, right. Well, number one, so I'm like banned on Twitter 100,000 times over. I won't even say what my Twitter handle is now as a result. But I constantly make new Twitter handles, and so if you're not big on Twitter, they're not really going to respond to you. They look for the people who are tweeting at YouTube support. There's like 1,000, children tweeting them like, "Why was my stuff taken down?" And they never reply to that. They're replying to guys with big followings, and I can't have a big following on Twitter because I'm banned every other week.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was like my original account, I think I had like 10,000 followers on my original account before it got taken down. Like, yeah, I could have maybe gotten something to happen then. Literally, one of the times I got them to respond, my handle on Twitter was @DeathToYouTube. And so they're replying and like they're having to tweet out hey, @DeathToYouTube. Make sure you contact partner support. I'm like, I tried that. It says I'm no longer a partner because you falsely terminated me. it's incredibly frustrating. And I think part of that frustration, I think that feedback loop might have happened because I had been terminated already. I was like basically double terminated. And so I'm just constantly getting back the same response over and over again because it doesn't know what to do. It's a robot. You know, you're telling a robot to go sit in the corner of a round room. Suddenly steam starts coming out of its mechanical ears.
Right.
Yeah.
It has, there's no automated response for what's actually going on here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm lucky I didn't get a 404 sent back to me or something. You know,
Well, maybe that's next, you know.
and then they took down the next like 4 channels I made after that. I mean, I literally got a thing saying I'm not allowed to be on YouTube, period. Someone else's videos, it doesn't matter. In no form am I allowed on the, you can't upload an old clip of me. If you have an old clip of me on your YouTube channel, technically speaking, they could terminate you, even though it was before I got terminated. That's their rules. That's the craziest part about how their rules work. Is it likely to happen? No, I don't, as far as I know, it's never happened, but it is what they say. And it's what they do.
I mean, Twitch, if you're on Twitch and there's a person who's banned from Twitch and they come on, they'll literally eliminate the Twitch channel. But YouTube seems to be pretty lax with people who've been banned going on other shows. They don't seem to mind that so much.
Twitch is like super strict and everything. I'm banned on Twitch like real bad, but I hate Twitch. Twitch is so bad with, it's so strict with all their rules. I only use Twitch to troll people. I'm constantly having to make new Twitch accounts, and YouTube does not mete out punishment to everyone the same, and what they punish is completely up to which blue hair happened to get the report that day or if it went to a bot. They're not paying attention to anything. There are literally, I mean, it is not difficult to find literal pornography on YouTube. You know, there's like, I always use this one example over and over again of like, there's a video that has been up for, I think, 6 or 7 years, where it's just a guy standing with his cock out in a sex shop showing how cock rings work. And it's like, there's no, what are you trying to claim is like making it viable? Except this is not like a medical device or something. He's
right.
Just like, yeah, this is really good if you're, it's like 2 gay dudes. And he's like, yeah, this is like really good if you and your partner want to. And it's like, how is this up and okay? It has over 1 million views. That's why I like to use it as an example. It has 1 million views. And it's like the thumbnail, the guy's got his cock and balls out. It's crazy. And meanwhile,
and they're just like, no problem. Yeah. This pot awful guy, though, he's got to go.
Yeah, I literally had a video taken down 2 days ago because of quote unquote hate speech. I don't know what I even said in it. And again, like, why wasn't it taken down immediately? It had a transcript on it. You knew what I was saying as I said it. Why did it take 2 days? And I know the answer to that. It's because it wasn't reported until 2 days later. And I know who reported it. And it was Alex Stein.
Alex Stein reported you?
Well, Drew, yes, he did.
Really? Huh. Yeah, you know, I was going to ask you kind of about the Alex Stein arc. I was listening this afternoon to one of your podcasts. It was called Alex Stein, The Death of Trolling.
Yeah.
And this was I think episode 47 is what I have up here. I thought it was pretty funny. I don't think anybody's above ridicule on the internet, though. Not me, not anybody. You know,
that's interesting you say that, because this is something I wanted to ask you about. Is you had Alex on about a month ago. I saw that.
Yep.
We went to watch it live, actually, and something interesting we noticed, and you're not the only show, you don't have the only show that this happened on in that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
We came in, and admittedly, we were going to be annoying in the chat room. That was the intention.
Yeah.
Because Alex very much does not like me. And strangest of all, he really doesn't like seeing a bunch of pickles in a chat room. It really, really makes him mad. I don't know why. But the most thin-skinned of human beings on the internet are terrified of pickles. Don't ask me. It's not my thing. It's just something true about them. And so we've been following Alex around to all the different shows he goes on and putting pickles in chat, and you can watch him getting more agitated as it happens. It's kind of funny when you know that's what's going on. You're like, you watch him and you can see him like checking the chat room over and over again and getting more short and, you know, curt with whoever the host is or the guests are. Now we had planned to do this with the Crucible here, but we noticed, and I don't think this is typical for you, we noticed when he was on that not only was it a subscriber only chat, which I have no issue with. I do that myself. It's a nice way of getting people to fucking subscribe, but I usually do it for like, you know, you can set the amount of time someone has to subscribe for.
Yeah.
I usually set it for 0 amount of time. All you got to do is subscribe. You can immediately chat. And hey, if you want to unsub after that, be my guest, whatever. But when you had Alex on, not only did you have that on, you had it set that you had to be subscribed for 12 hours.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if you set that up. I don't know if you got someone setting
No,
up.
I set it up. So let me tell you what happened.
I would love.
So I was on the phone with Alex setting up the interview, and I like Alex. He's been a good guest. I like to have him on for debates. So I didn't know any of this background or history. I'm totally and completely unfamiliar with your work up until just recently, in fact. But what he told me was, he said there's like a troll army that follows me around. And I said, oh, okay, fair enough. You know what I mean? So my channel has been brigaded many times by groypers.
Right.
And the way that I stop the brigading from happening is I can set the subscriber mode, and then they can't brigade the chat.
Right.
So I just proactively set it because that's what he told me was going on.
I was going to ask though.
And so sure enough, the chat was brigaded. So it seemed like he was vindicated on it. And I didn't think twice about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it was you. I wanted to know though, did you choose 12 hours or did he suggest this?
No, I chose 12 hours.
Okay. That's what's interesting, is because he had been going on so many shows at that point, and we were always there. And I know people who don't know about me are probably in your chat wondering, why is this happening? I'll explain that in a second. I promise there's a good reason. But we had been following him to all these other shows, and usually if they had the subscribers only thing, it was for like 10 minutes or something, which even that isn't like, we'll get bored enough that 10 minutes might throw us off. We might just be like, fuck it, we don't want to watch this shit. But we noticed, like, I don't know if yours was the first or if it was this other one. We noticed somebody had 12 hours set, and we thought it was in reaction to the last few times where like the 10 minutes or the 15 minutes wasn't long enough, and maybe he had been suggesting that to people. But I like that you.
No, he didn't mention anything about that. I just let him know, if that's what's going on, I'll set it to subscribers only mode. That'll stop the brigading.
You did. So. I like that you are confirming that he is warning people that the chat's going to be filled. Now, the real reason, it's not that it's going to be brigaded. Again, it's pickle emojis. That's probably happening in the chat right now. I don't think anyone's dying over this. The real
so that you understand, so I can frame it properly. Like, I have no frame of reference for this. If I'm just told, like, hey, I am a figure who has a lot of notoriety, and I have like people who follow me around and fuck with me, it seems like it's a reasonable request to ask that. You know what I mean? So
I'm 100% on your side with that. Of course, that seems like a perfectly reasonable request until you know the backstory.
Right, until you know the best. So that's what I want to know, is like the backstory to this, right? Like I said, I like Alex. I don't have any problem with him. And of course, there's going to be people come on the podcast from time to time, the YouTube channel from time to time, who have problems with each other. That's not like a huge deal for me. But I don't know. I don't know what the
reason you're having them on.
Yeah, sometimes it is. I'm not gonna lie. I think sometimes it's hilarious, but I do want to know the backstory. What is the pod awful Alex Stein backstory? Right. You got us on the edge of our seat here, man.
All right, so I have to set this up by saying this, because I am a small time, whatever this is I do. And I hate to say, I'm not going to say YouTuber or creator. Those are the gayest phrases. But I'm
Yeah,
small time.
Creator is a pretty fucking gay one. I'll hand you that. That's a bad one. Creators, you're making that. I hate that one. But yeah, go ahead.
So of course, and Alex now is huge. He's on a rocket ship, and it's just he's going higher and higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to set this up by saying my first interactions with Alex Stein, he was essentially a nobody. He had already had one of those like town council videos go viral, but that had not yet brought him personal success on like his YouTube channel or anything. It's just that one video is viral. It'd be like saying, you know, Tay Zonde is really successful. He just has chocolate rain. He's not.
Same. So my engagements with him go back for modern day debate before he really started to get a lot of headwind from these different council trolling. So I kind of know him from before then as well.
And I was on his show. He invited me onto his show. And this was at a time where it was advantageous for him to bring me on. I actually had a slightly bigger channel than him at the time, which is, you know, hilarious in hindsight. So I just want to package it in that, because anyone who's a fan of Alex or even is just vaguely aware of him, they're going to take his side because people like those big numbers, I guess, in this. So you have to understand that was the foothold originally. I was on his show. We had a great discussion, and he admitted to me, and I didn't realize this until afterward. He admitted to me when I was on his show that a big reason why he brought me on was because he was aware of me. He knew me through Revenge of the Sis and Mersh. I make fun of this guy Mersh a lot. Are you familiar with him?
I do know who Mersh is in Revenge of the Sis. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm like the preeminent Mersh troll. I'm like his biggest troll. And I don't really believe in trolling. I think that's a fake word. And I think Alex Stein is actually the one who killed it. But, you know, whatever you want to call that, A-log, harasser, heckler, whatever that is, I'm the top guy in that department. And so Alex was aware of me from that. And I had made myself, you know, get into Alex's circle because Alex had just been on their show and I wanted to make Mersh mad. It was funny to me. So I got on the show, and Alex admits to me, I brought you on because I didn't want you to troll me. And that's it. Like, I didn't realize that until months and months after I had been on a show and like rewatching my appearance on there. That's a crazy thing for a guy who calls himself the king of trolls to say. Like, Alex Stein now bills himself as the greatest troll. He says this, these are his words. And he claims that, you know, he's the top dog when it comes to making other people uncomfortable for laughs. And for him to say that like so openly about someone like me is very bizarre, but it should be very telling for what happened next. At a certain point, I was doing an episode of my show where, and I don't usually have on guests at all. It's not really what I do. But occasionally, if it makes sense, if it's like funny, if it's for a bit, I'll have somebody on. Like I did a very silly episode about Jan 6, our greatest terrorist threat of all time. Jan 6, do you remember that? Yeah. Never forget. And so I had never forget. So I had on Baked Alaska as a guest because that's like a funny person to have on for that. Not normally something I would do, but it was funny for the bit. So in this particular episode, I needed a guy, and you tell me who fits this bill. I needed someone to play a character who was like a Tucker Carlson style conservative, hates trans people. Okay.
Yeah, that would be Stein. I agree. Yeah. That seems that would flow well with a bit like that. I
wasn't writing the character for him. It literally, that is what popped into my head for this bit. I'm not going to go through what the bit is, but it made sense for the bit. And I obviously went, oh, Alex Stein, my internet buddy, Alex Stein. I'm sure he'll do this. So I contacted him about doing it 2 days before or so. And he says he's a little bit apprehensive, but mostly because he's got another thing he's doing. And at this point, the rocket ship is taking off. So I kind of expect him to say no. you know, I wouldn't have been, if he had just said no, we would not be here right now. That's all he had to do, was just say no. But instead he said yes. And then he said an hour before the show was to go live, I do the show 100% live. He says, you know what? I'm not going to show up. I'm like begging him to like set up with me, like to get, you know, the way I jumped in here before the show began, to make sure everything was working and our audio. I just needed him for that. And what he ended up doing was, like, maybe 15 minutes before the show, he told me, he revealed to me that he's decided not to come on the show because he's afraid, and this, I'm quoting him, that I'm going to troll him.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay, so now to me, I mean, again, king of the trolls, that's a crazy thing to say. And now I'm put in a really bad place because a segment of the show that probably would have taken up 15 to 20 minutes is now gone. That's gone. And I have nowhere to go with that. And I've got other guests, much harder guests to try to wrangle for this. I'm having to scramble to try to fix the situation. And it's like 5 minutes till showtime here. It's a very bad situation. And if you put me in that situation, I'm going to end up talking about it. There's not going to be a method, like we're not going to walk away from this where people don't know that that's what happened. I've already tweeted out that he's going to be on the show. He like allowed me to bill him as being on the show. Now it looks like I'm lying to people about him coming on. It's like crazy. Like I was clickbaiting people to watch. So in the episode, I read our exchange through our Instagram DMs to everybody and explain the king of the trolls is scared of being trolled. Now, I had no intention of trolling him. I needed him for this bit. It's crazy. And we were talking about this before we went live, because there's this guy on Twitter who was warning you about not having me on.
Right.
He said that I was going to show gay porn or something into the
right.
stream. And I said, I think that's really silly because, you know, like, why would I don't do that to everybody. I just do that to the people it makes sense to, like Ethan Ralph. Like, I'm not doing that with every single stream. This guy is an Ethan Ralph fan who's saying that, so he's mad. So my reputation precedes me. I understand that to some degree, but I had already been on Alex's show. Like, if I was going to troll him, wouldn't I have shown the gay porn then? You know?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the thing is like, I don't know that there would be any use in doing that on a show where you were invited so that you could kind of, I just don't see the sense in it. I get it.
It's like I said, it would be like you're having a UFC fighter on the show and someone messages you in a panic going, don't have him on. He gives people rear naked chokeholds. He punches people. It's like, well, he's not, you're interviewing him. He's not doing that to you. That's not how it works. So yeah, I talked about it on the show, and Alex was wildly embarrassed about this, and people started making fun of him. People started going to Twitter and making fun of him. And despite the fact that he has thousands and thousands of followers, you must be getting notifications constantly. The little bit of chirping from my audience, who he, by the way, likes to say over and over again. We have now multiple clips of him talking about how, I've got nobody watching my show. I'm a nobody, even though when he and I started together, I was the somebody. He was the nobody.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah,
funny how that works in this industry. Somebody gets hits a rocket ship from a bit they did or something like this, and suddenly they're just a little bit too good for the people who helped them get there.
Well, I never understand. I've been accused of being on that side of it before, but I don't give a shit about numbers at all. I do anybody's show. I go on anything. Like, people try to say I'm a clout chaser or anything, but usually it's the bigger streamers that end up getting the gay porn bomb, not the small guys. Like, it's a bad way of clout chasing if that's what I'm doing. But anyway, so he was very embarrassed the next day, and the next day happened to be the day that Alex Stein became the biggest that he's ever been, because
Right.
the literal next day is the day that he yelled at AOC about her big fat Latino ass. And so
I mean, that was, you didn't think that was funny though? I mean, that was kind of funny.
I thought I think every woman should be harassed on the streets, of course.
I mean, it was kind of funny.
I think a lot worse than that should happen to most women, but I would tell you what I think, but you'll be banned for circumvention of technology if I.
Yeah. Well, so maybe we won't dive into that just yet, right?
Well, here's the thing. On the same day that Alex gets the most famous he's ever been, he hits that video with a report. That video went down. That episode of my show is no longer on YouTube, all because he was embarrassed. Now, again, I make fun of a lot of people. I got a lot of people who don't like me, but I know when and where these attacks come from. It's always obvious. You can tell. Like, technically speaking, every episode of my show should be getting these hits if that's happening. I'm constantly violating TOS, and I'm constantly making people mad. But the only people who ever sit there and really work hard enough to get an episode taken down, who report over and over and over again to make sure it happens, are the people who are most hurt by it. It's never their audiences. So, and Alex Stein his audience didn't see my show. You know, why would they be white knighting for him by taking the episode down? I'm a nobody. It's just like Alex says, I'm a nobody. Why would they even know about the episode? The only person who would know about it is Alex, who got tagged in the title of the episode and in the description, right? So, and I know he knows about it. I know he saw it because he admitted it on stream. So he gets huge. He gets that night of the AOC thing. He is doing a live. He gets he's supposed to be doing a live comedy show in DC, and because of the AOC shit, it gets canceled, and which had nothing to do with me. And he instead decides, well, I'll do a live meetup with all the people who are supposed to come to my comedy show. I'll do a live meetup on the Capitol steps where I catcalled AOC. And you asked me if I thought that was funny. Yes, I do think it's funny. I do want to point out it's not trolling, though. And this is why I did a whole episode about the death of trolling, and specifically with Alex Stein.
Yeah, well, I mean, what was the troll?
Exactly. There's no troll.
Yeah, that wasn't a troll.
Yeah,
troll, you have to fall for something, right? That's
exactly. Oh, what? She thought she was going to work today unharassed? Gotcha, bitch.
Right. So, yeah, no, it was just, I mean, from my perspective, it was just a funny bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but no, I wouldn't have called it a troll.
Exactly. But Alex calls it a troll. And Alex said that because of doing that, he's the king of trolling. And every comment I see on the video and in the tweets is saying, this is the greatest troll. And I'm like, this is a troll? This is all it takes? Harassing someone while they're out on the Capitol steps is all it takes? So I figure, well, I could do that. So while Alex is on the Capitol steps doing this live stream, do you know the streamer Goo Cheese?
I do not.
This is like one of those IRL IP2 stream people. It's like a freak.
Okay.
It's like a freak of nature who goes out live stream. She's there live streaming him on it, and she's got donation like text to speech donations coming in. You know, which usually involves just the N word being said over and over again out loud. That's always the joke, right? So. Right before this happens, she says to a donation comes through, and she says to Alex, "Do you want me to turn that off?" And he's like, "No, I don't care. Make your money. No, this is great. You know, because he's the king of trolling. He can take anything. It doesn't matter what it says. And the very next thing that comes through while he's standing on those Capitol steps is a little bit of harassment toward him, saying, "Alex Stein fears pod awful," and it says that over and over and over again. Alex let every other one of those go through. He didn't pay any attention to them. That one comes through and he melts down. We've got the video of it. He goes, come on, stop with the trolling. Goo Cheese, turn it off.
Really?
Yes, he forced her to turn off the text-to-speech because of that. That's it. That text-to-speech did it. Saying pod awful did it. It's the equivalent of pickles showing up, I guess. And the pickle thing is because I showed up on Ethan Ralph's stream dressed as a pickle. That's all that.
Yeah,
is.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That. So I mean, that was hilarious too, by the way. But
So,
and I liked the Kino Casino stuff. Like I kind of enjoyed all of that. You know, that was good stuff. But so I got this right. I want to make sure that I got this story down. So essentially, Stein doesn't show up one night when he says he's going to your podcast.
Yep.
He doesn't show up. So you read off the DMs proving he was supposed to be there and he got cold feet at the end of it.
Specifically that he didn't want to be trolled. Yeah.
Yeah. So this in turn pisses him off, right? You think that he's probably responsible for at least flagging one episode because it was about him, which makes sense, because if it's the only episode that's flagged happens to be about him, who else would do it, right? That seems to be the logical breakdown there. Makes sense. Yeah. So you see him mess with AOC on the steps of the Capitol. Hilarious. You think it's funny. I think it's funny. Everyone thinks it's funny. So you feel one of the things that you could do that would just kind of tip the scales a little bit, make it just a little bit more hilarious, would be if you trolled him on the Capitol steps and it worked. Yes. Right. So this is where we're at in the story so far. Did I miss anything?
No, that's great. That's a great breakdown. I like hearing all of the things I said back to me, and all of it is correct. It's nice when someone's listening. I wish my wife would do this when I talk to her.
Well, I mean, mine doesn't either. Don't feel bad. But anyway, so keep going. So he freaks out on this.
He freaks
out.
What
happens from there?
Now we know, like, oh, this dude's weak. Like, not only did he not want to be trolled on my show, but something as small as you fear pod awful or whatever it was over and over again. I mean, he's got a crowd of people in front of him when this happens. Like, it's embarrassing. Marjorie Taylor Greene is there when this happens. She's with him. Okay. What do they call her? MTG. Yeah. Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's a bizarre
complete fucking moron. Whichever one you want to do.
Whatever. I don't care.
Either of those.
I think, you know what she reminds me of? I think she looks like, you ever see that 80s television show Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, I did. You know what? Oh, fuck. Are you talking about the chick who played Belle in that?
No, I'm talking about the Beast.
No. It's funny because I think that chick was like banging her personal trainer. You know, like she's all about family values or whatever, but she was like banging her personal trainer and shit. So she's a piece of work. But hey, I know politics isn't your shtick, but I just gotta think it's funny.
I don't slut shame.
The cool enough. You don't do it enough.
The cool thing about saying you don't slut shame is you are softly calling them sluts anyway when you say it. That's really cool. So listen, man, I don't judge sluts. They can slut around if they want to slut. Who gives a shit?
It's fine.
Fucking slut. All right, so so we realized, like, oh, his defenses are down. Like, this is a weak guy. He can't handle the lightest thing. And we've been trolling him ever since. And it's like, it's the tiniest things. It's showing up to chat rooms. The next day, one of the weirdest parts of this is the next day he copied a bit I did. And of course it got, thousands and thousands of views because now he's huge. So that feels a little odd to me. But I like back when I don't know if you want me saying this word on the show, this the P gate, the comet thing.
Yeah.
Back when that happened, I did a video there when the guy went in with a gun. I was there the next day at the pizza place.
Mm-hmm.
And we did this bit in the video where do you remember the other pizza place that was there, Besta?
No, I do remember when this was a while ago when that whole gate thing happened with this. So I don't remember all the details around it. It had something to do with Podesta running something out of this.
So years and years ago, 2016, we did this, and there's a second pizza place. We went to that one and we ate the pizza and reviewed it. in this like really silly way with this silly music underneath. It's like we're there to break open the conspiracy, but also we take a minute to review the pizza. It's like it's a stupid bit, right?
Right.
The next day, Alex did that while he was in DC. He did that exact same thing. Now that's an obvious enough bit, I suppose. The problem is when I was on his show with him, we talked about that bit and he had seen it. He knew the bit. He's watched the bit. So, and then he
ripped off the bit, essentially.
He copied it 100%.
Yeah.
While he's taking down my videos, he's like doing my videos. It's bizarre. And so not long after that, he's on a live stream. I managed to worm my way onto the same stream and confront him directly. And ever since then, much like on your show here, he's been warning people to try to make sure that Pod Awful doesn't interfere, because whenever we manage to get through, it's a very, very bad time for this face haunts him.
That's kind of funny.
This was the picture you were supposed to use for the thumbnail. I disavow the picture in the thumbnail for this episode. I asked for this picture to be used.
He did ask for that picture. That's true, but he only asked for it after we got the thumbnail up. To be fair.
No. I sent 4 possible ones. I said, don't use any other thing other than these 4. And then, because I knew you'd go to Google and you'd use either that one where I'm like 20 years old, I'm wearing a necktie. Everyone always uses this fucking awful photo of me because it's the first result on Google. It would be either that one or this stupid one where I'm at the microphone holding a pipe and smiling. Now people think I smoke a pipe. I'm holding a pipe for a bit.
What's wrong with fucking smoking a pipe?
I don't smoke. I've never smoked in my life.
Well, maybe you should start.
I'll tell you what I do though. I wear blackface. So anyway.
I mean, I don't know. It just looked like it was like your morning face care, something going on with
it. Really is. If you look in the background, you can see my Biore face mask in the back. That's actually just Biore face mask.
Yeah, it's just
I don't know why my lips got so red, but that's
so I got to ask this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just so you understand, our policy generally is not like we keep the chat open. That was a special request. I was just under the impression that there was some essentially haters following a guest around. We didn't know what the backstory was. Had I known that was the backstory, just so you know, we would not have barred anybody from coming into chat unless they're actually causing problems for the broadcast itself. I don't really fucking care what people do in the chat.
I assume that of every single show that he goes on and does this to. That's obviously what I thought with you. Yeah, we don't blame anybody who he makes do this. And I also understand, like, just going along with it, being like, all right, well, we don't want to cause a problem because you don't want him to fucking cancel on you last second. How would you feel right now if I had been like, going along with, I'll set it up, send me this. I'm sending you messages about, let me get the StreamYard and when can I tweet this out? And here's my photo, here's my headshot you asked for. And then 1 second before the show, I'm like, nah, no thanks. That sucks, right? Like, I'm sure that's happened to you.
Well, and those people do get roasted, just so you know.
Of course.
I mean, of course I roast them and talk all kinds of shit. And why wouldn't you? Right?
Of course. Here's the craziest part. So I talk the shit. He gets the episode taken down. Then I talk shit about him for doing that because, of course, I do. Now he can't take down the next one because that would be too obvious, right? If the next Alex Stein video I do goes down, it's going to look really bad on him. That's Streisand effect at that point. I know that. So the next episode I do where I talk about it, it's all Alex. It's wall-to-wall Alex. And I put out everything I know about him, like really embarrassing stuff. And of course, that one doesn't go down because of
But it just seems so fucking silly, man. Like, who gives a shit if people put pickles in a chat?
Dude,
you know what I mean? Like, who fucking cares?
Hang on. I saved the best for last.
Okay.
Best for last. So, in all of this making fun of him, some enterprising young retard from my audience, I don't know who, they decided to make a fake Alex Stein Twitter account. And they cloned his Twitter exactly. And it even looks like it says at Alex Stein. Like, they took a capital I instead of the L, in Alex, so that it would look like the real deal. They clone it exactly, and they just on all of his tweets, they start putting replies about how he's gay and afraid of being trolled and all this stuff, right? I don't even know this is happening. I haven't seen it. They didn't even follow me. I had no clue about it. Had nothing to do with it. I get a message from Alex, who, by the way, had blocked me on Twitter and Instagram already at this point, had fully blocked me everywhere. He unblocks me from Instagram. I check my DMs. I'm like, what the fuck? Alex is messaging me? Maybe he's messaging me to say, I'm sorry for being such a gay lord about all of this. Nope. Turns out, no. Instead, he messaged me to say that he's suing me.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. You want me to read it to you?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Now, I've talked about this elsewhere. I think I did a show on it. Let me
wait. He's suing you because this other fucking guy made a Twitter, like a meme Twitter?
That's what he says.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I agree.
What? Okay, yeah, read it. I want to hear it.
All right. Oh, God damn it. Hang on a second. Somebody tried to hack my Instagram earlier today, and now I'm getting this it's just speaking of getting a looping error from something, I just keep getting this looped error where it's telling me to log in over and over again on Instagram. I literally cannot get my Instagram though, but hang on a second. I'll do it on the desktop here. Okay, so Instagram.com. Let me go to my messages. I guess it's going to be from unknown sender or whatever, because he's got me blocked again at this point. Instagram user. Let's see. Where is it? Sorry, this has been a lot easier on my fucking phone. Here he is. Okay. So here's what I get from him. I mean, this is nuts.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy so far, but now I got to hear this. So let's hear it.
He says, "What is your problem, Jesse? I don't care about the videos, but cloning my Twitter," which, by the way, that's where you draw the line. I just want you to know
that happens to everybody.
Yeah, of course. Like there's like 5 accounts out there pretending to be me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even allowed to have a Twitter.
It literally fucking happens to everybody across the board. But anyway, go ahead.
He says, I just want you to know I am going to file a lawsuit against you. Make 1 million videos about me. I enjoy that. But impersonating me, and by the way, he says he enjoys that, like he can take the trolling, but he fucking had the video taken down. He says, I enjoy that, but impersonating me is too far, dude. Now, I didn't reply to that right away. So the next day.
Now, at this point, hang on, I just cut in. At this point, you don't actually even know that this fake Twitter account exists, correct?
I have no clue what he's talking about.
Okay.
No clue. And
that kind of makes it a little bit funnier when you think about it.
Let me be clear. If it was me, or even if I had just told someone to do it, I would not only admit it, I would be relishing in it. Because then that means I, once again, am the one who trolled him into having a meltdown. I trolled him to the point of lawsuits. That's crazy. So I would love to take credit for it, but it wasn't me. So the next day, I haven't replied. He messages me again, and he says, impersonation isn't parody, Jesse. I'm taking you to court. I'll send the paperwork to, and this is the craziest part. He sends me the name, like the address of my parents' house. Now, I'm a grown man. I don't live with despite what the internet probably thinks, I do not live with my parents. He sends me my parents' address. And the reason is, it's their old address. It's the house I grew up in as a kid. Because if you Google me, if you try to dox me, that's what comes up. It's an old address. I haven't lived there in years, right? And like I famously, anyone who knows me knows I lived in New York for 10 years. Like I left there so long ago. But he's so stupid. He just assumes the first address that comes up is my current one. So now he's essentially threatening to sue my parents, I guess. I don't know why he's sending me their address. So I reply to him because I'm confused. I say, That's my parents' house. So, okay. Where am I impersonating? And then I had missed the earlier message he sent. So I said, oh, sorry, I missed the earlier message. That's not me on Twitter. I don't know what you're talking about. He says, all right. And now you thought the last part was crazy. Get ready for this. Hang on to your hat. Not that you need to. You're not a bald guy, but just in case. Okay. Well, you don't have to show off. It's starting to get crazy.
Anyway,
right.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm holding it. I'm holding it.
I said, that's not me on Twitter. He says, luckily, I'm in the bail bond business, so I'll have a bounty hunter help.
So he's gonna hire a skip tracer to track you down and serve you with paperwork so that he can sue you for a fake Twitter account. Are you serious?
Alex Stein is legitimately threatening to send Boba Fett after my parents if I don't delete a Twitter account I have nothing to do with. That's what's happening in real life, okay? Dog the Bounty Hunter is going to show up and put a bullet through my dad's head if this kid doesn't delete his Twitter or at least change the name. I didn't even know bounty hunters were real. Like, I thought that was a science fiction thing. I thought that was like, Django, and that's about it. And then...
Oh, no, skip tracers are real, for sure.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Alex Stein is a bounty hunter. A lot of people don't know this.
Yeah, he was a skip tracer, yeah.
Yeah, he's licensed for bail bonds. So I replied to him. I said, well, it is funny, LOL. And
it is funny. It is funny. What the fuck? It is funny.
So I go to my Discord and I'm like, did anybody post about this? Is anybody taking credit for this? So I find the guy who did it. He posted about it in Discord. Now, I'm not giving Alex this guy's even his fake name because fuck Alex. But I screenshot it and scratch out the kid's name. And it's him saying, I just created a new Twitter account, twitter.com/AlexStein99. And I show it to him. And I go, please tell me you're fucking joking, dude. This is embarrassing. He replies, we will see how funny it is very soon. Okay, so he's serious about it. I'm freaking out. I'm going to my wife going, can you believe this? A bounty hunter is coming to kill my parents. This is Alex Stein. This is real.
What the fuck, dude?
He's got the Mandalorian on my tail. So I said, it's not me. I didn't do anything. And then I realized he's doing it because of impersonation. I don't think that's the thing you can report it to Twitter. You can just hit report on Twitter and go,
yeah, and they'll get rid of it.
Yep. You don't sue someone over that. If he's really this upset about someone impersonating him, I realized that at almost the exact same day, my friend Ryan Katsu Rivera had done an impression of Alex where he face swapped himself with Alex, and he did this very good. He did a whole show as Alex Stein.
Yeah, I like Ryan. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he does this very funny show on censored.tv where he answers fan mail as these different impressions that he does. And this one he did as Alex Stein. So I said to Alex, are you suing Ryan too, for impersonation? And he says, LOL, no. And I said, why? He impersonated you. I'll get you his parents' address so you can send a bounty hunter after him. You fucking loser.
Wait, okay. All right. So this is taking a more interesting turn the more that we go. So far, this is the part that gets me is the Twitter impersonation. Like, everybody has a Twitter impersonator. Doesn't matter who the fuck you are, right? Like Comfy Stream has a Twitter impersonation. You know what I mean? I think it's got more followers than Comfy Stream itself has, right? The impersonation account.
Yeah.
This is not Alex's first time on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, this is how this goes, right?
Honestly, I think it is. You got to remember, Alex comes not from the world of the internet, but from the world of reality television.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a world of fragile ego. It's glass egos. We like to joke about how, he calls himself Alex Stein 99. We call him Alex Stein 109. because he's been kicked out of 109 reality shows. He's a
Oh, no.
well, hang on a second. He's sort of a rootless kind of reality star. A cosmopolitan style reality star. He's not used to this internet stuff. He's really not. He kind of got thrown into this. This wasn't what he was intending to do with his life. So yeah, I don't know what to think about all of this. He's sending a bounty hunter after me. He says, "LOL, Jesse, I don't care how many videos you make about me, but we will just figure this out in court." I said, "Okay, you will be figuring out it was another guy." He says, "Sure." I said, "I'll be figuring out getting you to pay for the lawyer, I guess." He says, "LOL." I said, "I mean, I literally just showed you the guy posting it in Discord. This is seriously embarrassing. At least get the right address first."
Oh, God, dude. Wow.
He says, "Jesse, you can play dumb, but you're literally coordinating this," which is crazy. "We can just see what a jury says in civil court." I said, "Coordinating?" And then I sent him the full screenshot of the Discord page where it was posted showing that, like, this guy's just doing it on his own. And I said, "It's just guys posting shit. They did it because that other guy made a fake Ralphomania account." I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
Yeah.
the
That was
fake,
also, which, by the way, was also hilarious.
yes,
So you know.
there's a fake Ralphomania account that got way more followers than Ethan Ralph's actual Ralphomania account.
Yeah.
Very, very funny troll. Now, by the way, I am involved with the coordination of these things. Ironically, I am a part of that now. I have nothing to do with this fake Alex Stein one. Well, I didn't originally. I said,
yeah, but I mean, now it's like, why wouldn't you, right? It's like at that point, if you're already in it, you're in it, right?
Well, exactly. So I said, I wasn't even posting when this happened. I've been ill for over a month. I've been sick for months now, like horrifically ill. I'm like, I miss most of the cool things going on the internet at this point. So I said, I mean, waste your time and money, I guess, and send it to my childhood home in a state I haven't lived in for 13 years. But thanks for the permission to keep making videos. You're giving plenty of ammo. And that ammo, of course, is, as you just said, well, now I am coordinating. So I said on my show, I mean, I'm not coordinating it, but I said on my show, listen, if you want to make a fake Alex Stein Twitter account, I can't stop you. That is your cross to bear. If you were to pretend to be Alex Stein on Twitter, number one, parody accounts are perfectly legal. All you got to do is say it's a parody or a fan account, and you can have an account about somebody else. And I've got nothing to do with that. I don't have one. And that's true. I don't have a fake Alex Stein account. But if you did it, what could I do? And now,
well, who gives a fuck if you did? Like, it's just, who cares? Right? Like, that's the thing that just blows my mind about it, is like, who gives a shit if somebody makes a parody account of a Twitter account? It's like, well, who gives a shit?
Now there are like over 20 fake Alex Stein accounts. Oh, there's a pretty good number, all with different theming, like openly gay Alex Stein, openly Jewish Alex Stein, that's a very controversial one. Alex doesn't like admitting that. And, I'm being very serious when I say this I know we've got quite a few of my guys watching this right now. I'm going to say this to your people watching this. If you like the show, if you like the Crucible, if you like this story, I'm going to beg you, for Andrew, I'm going to beg you, download this video while you still can. All right. I don't know how you feel about re-uploads of your stuff.
Oh, no, this is going to get taken down as soon as we're off the air. And then it'll be re-uploaded elsewhere, likely on Comfy Stream and other places. Well, but what we'll do is put up a thumbnail directing people to it.
Listen, I say whatever. I don't know what your usual policy is on this, but make an exception. This one, download this, re-upload it all over YouTube, because the likelihood of this staying on YouTube is very, very slim. In any capacity. Alex Stein, I keep going on other people's shows and they ask me about Alex Stein, or I start talking about it. And of course, this story kind of, brings people in and they're like, wait, what the fuck? And oftentimes they're people who have just had Alex on their show. I was on Hypocrite's channel not that long ago, his Daily Cope show, and we talked about this, and I told him about the lawsuit and all this stuff, and I clipped the part that I was on his show on. I put it on my channel, and that's what got taken down 2 days ago. That's why I'm currently banned from YouTube, and I'm staring at it because, to be honest, ever since I got the new YouTube channel up and running, it's been running pretty well. Like, I haven't had a lot of snags, a lot of flags, a lot of reports or strikes. This is my first strike, I think, ever on this. Maybe second. I can't remember. It's been a while. And it's probably been a year since I had a strike at the very least. And so I'm staring at it going, why was this taken down? I mean, I understand it was for like hate speech or whatever. I understand. I probably said something bad in it, but who would report it? Who would report? And then I realized, oh, I've got Alex Stein tagged in the title of the video. Like, I'm literally sitting there. I'm on the phone with Ryan, actually, and I'm telling him, like, dude, I just got hit on YouTube. What the fuck is this? And he's like talking, and I'm not even listening to what he's saying. I'm just sitting there staring at the email I got, and it just hits me. I'm like staring at that at Alex Stein. I'm like, oh shit, he took down that other video. It's him. So if you don't believe he took down the other one, explain how this one got taken down, because he let 2 go. There's 2 episodes that are still up that are all about Alex Stein. And again, he can't take those down because that's obvious. If you take down the ones that's wall-to-wall Alex Stein, that's talking all about, you know, the lawsuit and everything, that's obvious. But you take down a re-upload of someone else's video where we talk about Alex for like a portion of it, that's not so obvious. Maybe no one will notice. Maybe Jesse won't notice. And I almost didn't notice. I'm telling you, it's Alex. That's the saddest part, is he's doing it. He doesn't have a super fan white knighting him. There's nobody. He doesn't have someone running ops.
You literally think it's Alex on the other end clicking the report button himself?
Andrew, I would bet $99 on it. Okay. Hell, make it 100. I'm telling you, I know it in my fucking heart. And I'll tell you what really gets him. Because this is what I talked about in that video that got taken down. At the very end of it, I did what I love doing now. This is my favorite thing to do when we talk Alex Stein. I just told LP's audience, I said, Google Betty Minyard Stein. Okay? Betty Minyard Stein. M-I-N-Y-A-R-D. Betty Minyard Stein. And I didn't explain that. I just said it. I didn't give any more context for it. Now, obviously, there must be some relation there. The name is Stein. You're sitting there going, what is this, right? What could that possibly be? Now, once again, I'm just going to let you go down the rabbit hole. I'm not going to explain it. But I'll tell you this. Alex Stein does not want you to Google Betty Minyard Stein. It's not a dox. Nothing like that. This is a well-known person, a newsworthy person. You're allowed to talk about this. You're allowed to Google it. You're allowed to ask questions. You know, Alex Jones, a guy whose show Alex Stein recently hosted. You know, he was on InfoWars.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Jones, of course, was just hit with that giant trillion, or what was it, $1 billion?
Yeah, $1 billion. Yeah.
He was just
literally a Dr. Evil verdict, you know, $1 billion, you know, the pinky of the whole $9 billion.
And all because of a shooting event at a school. All right. I'm trying to be careful with my words on this one. I really don't want any reason for this interview to be taken down anywhere. So, all because of that, the thing you're not allowed to think about. I'm not saying one thing about it. I believe it all happened the way it happened. But you're not allowed to question these things, right? You're not allowed to talk about it. It's very interesting to me because Alex Stein and perhaps whoever this mysterious person is I'm telling you to Google may have some involvement with a similar situation, and Alex is very embarrassed by this sort of thing. That's all I'm going to give you. Okay. Betty.
Right, well, we're gonna do. I'm gonna have to do a live research stream on this one. I think is this. I gotta know. I gotta know what's going on.
It's good, but you do it, and you know say bye if Alex finds it. Betty MINYARD STEIN. I'm telling you, you'll have a great time. You got to do a little digging. It's just a little bit. You don't have to go that deep into Google results, but to figure out all the pieces and what I'm talking about here, your jaw will drop. If you think the lawsuit, if you think the bounty hunter, if you think the joke thievery is shocking stuff, wait until you see the lineage of Stein. And I will forever. Anytime Alex is on a show, I'm going to try to worm my way onto the same shows that he gets on, and then expose these things to those hosts and their audiences. I'm going to be having a lot of people Googling Betty MINYARD STEIN. It's my mission in life. And the more videos I get reported, the more shit he tries to take down for my YouTube. And I'm sure I'll lose this YouTube at some point over this. It's not going to stop me. I'm on a crusade to make this guy feel bad, because this dude, the nerve of him to bill himself as like the biggest troll on the internet. This guy can't handle
this guy. Dude, this guy in chat goes, her name was Betty MINYARD STEIN.
Oh yeah.
That's so good, dude.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Say her name. In death they have names. You know?
The next time you see Alex Stein dressed as a trans person in front of children, which is something he weirdly does while saying that's a bad thing, I want you thinking Betty MINYARD STEIN. The next time you see him dressed as a furry at a town council meeting, which is a real thing that just happened. That's true. Dressed like a rat. Don't think about the comic book Moss when you see it. Dressed as a rat, I want you to think Betty MINYARD STEIN. The next time you see Alex Stein coked up, chewing on a pen while, cutting off a caller on InfoWars who starts bringing up Israel, I want you to think Betty MINYARD STEIN. All because Alex does not want you to know. This is a guy who has been trying for 15 years that I'm aware of. 15 years trying to make it, trying to break into being famous. I was going to say the industry, but I don't know what industry it is. What is the industry of being an internet person? What is the industry of being a reality show guy? He just wants to be famous for the sake of famous. He's one of those kids. He grew up rich. He literally grew up he was 10 years old when he got his first credit card. He talked about this in an interview one time. His dad just gave him a credit card to buy his own food when he was 10 years old. Okay. This is a guy who is dying to be famous for the sake of famous. I want him to be a little bit more famous. I want his whole family.
Legendary, huh?
Oh yeah. I want his whole family to be famous. His dad, by the way, pretty big character around town too. He's not as public. See, I'm being kind of nice about this. You can do your own rabbit hole digging on this. It's just something to look into, just something interesting. And I'll tell you this, I thought it was all over. I thought it was, so far I haven't seen any evidence of a lawsuit materializing from this. Maybe it's just because he's trying to find the right address.
Oh, come on, it's bullshit. He got to fucking sue you over a Twitter account.
Listen, no spine, Alex Stein, a shrimp on a blimp. I can 100% see him do it. He's a litigious type of character. Okay,
you really think that the guy would do a real lawsuit over? I mean, if he did, that would be that would be bad. That would be a terrible look for him.
1,000%. 6 million%. Yes.
Oh no, dude.
Exactly 6 million. Not one more, not one less percentage point. I do believe it. Yes. Here's the thing. I thought it was all said and done, and then I found out something recently. I found out why, like the real reason why he didn't come on that episode of my show. Now, it was because he was afraid of being trolled, but someone else was involved. I'm just going to give you this as a teaser. I'm sorry, I can't say this on your show. I got to save this for mine.
No problem.
I'm saving this for mine. Subscribe, Pod Awful, YouTube. It will be a free episode. Everyone will be able to see this. I do premium stuff too, but don't worry about that shit. I currently, my show's been down for a while. Like I said, I've been very ill. I was telling you this behind the scenes. I've got Crowder-David's disease, and I have been, it's non-Augustine, so I'll be okay. I think the doctor gave me 6 months to live, and I'm going to try to fight it. But before this disease takes me, I've been rebuilding my moon base, my studio. I've been trying to make a better show. I'm planning to come back here very soon. I got a big Halloween show coming up here very soon that the people will be excited for. And my hope is, I've missed so many things online. And this Alex Stein thing that I found out is so crazy. I cannot wait to share it with everybody. The mystery person behind the Alex Stein disappearance. You're never going to believe who it was, how it ties everything together. I have the person admitting to it on tape that they were involved. That's all I'm going to say. Hopefully very soon, I'm trying to come back. I'm going to have my studio back together, and I won't be so ill that I won't be able to do it. I had to build up a lot of energy to be on this show tonight. I had to save up a lot of energy to do this. I've got an IV bag coming out of me right now. And
from the Crowder-David's disease.
Yeah, I don't know why you're laughing at that. That's a horrible thing to laugh at. But I have been very, very, very sick for some time. I just keep getting ill. This is true. I didn't want to say this publicly. I'm actually, I've got long hair. I'm known for having long hair. And I'm not going bald, but my hair is falling out. I just want to be clear. I know we joked about you and your hat earlier. I'm not bald. I have to be clear about this. Okay, there's no bald patches, but I have an immense amount of hair falling out from my illness, and it's frightening to me. It's very scary. I am soon going to have to become a hat guy.
Well, there's worse things in life than being a hat
guy.
No,
that is actually the worst thing in life. I do not want to be bald. I would rather be dead.
Can't you do like the cancer patient thing and like do the bandana tie and shit? Some people like that, right?
Yeah, it's a great look.
It's not such a great look. Look,
yeah, I love walking. I love going down the aisle of the grocery store and seeing the bald woman with a bandana on and thinking, boy, I feel totally more comfortable now that she's wearing a bandana. I don't think she's sick at all. Wow, you don't look horrifically ill. You're not reminding me of the saddest days of my family members' lives. It's like when a blind guy wears sunglasses. We know what's going on. You're not hiding anything by doing that.
Well, Jesse, I've got to wrap the interview up. I've got a debate that I got to get to tonight. I appreciate you coming on. Oh, I'm not debating. I host debates on the channel primarily.
Who's debating?
Couple assholes over an asshole topic. They want to argue over, whether black people should be in the Lord of the Rings or not, I guess. So
what do you think?
I gotta stay neutral. Gotta stay neutral before the debate. You know what I mean?
Good moderator, you have to stay neutral.
Gotta stay neutral.
I say Lord of the Rings should be only black people.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I don't know how much of it was trolling. I don't know how much of it wasn't, but you were a good sport for coming on. We appreciate it very much. Why don't you take a second, shout your channel out one more time?
All right, Pod Awful on YouTube. You can find it at awful.tube is the short link, and podawful.com for all of my banned from YouTube videos. Tons of stuff that's not allowed on YouTube anymore, and there's a lot of it for free over at podawful.com.
All right, thank you so much. And of course, you can always upload this too. I'll send you the raw video. We don't give a shit about content on the Crucible. Never have. People can use it however they see fit.
Hell yeah.
Have yourself a wonderful evening.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. That was fun. Who knows, right? Who knows? Is it all true? Is none of it true? I have no idea. I think we'll just we'll leave it up to the audience. I can tell you this: I don't find the pickles in chat to be particularly threatening. I don't get that necessarily. You know, like it's just kind of weird to me. But anyway, from all of us here at the Crucible to all of you out there, including in Jesse's audience who popped in, we appreciate it. Have yourself a wonderful night.